Jonathan Harker packed his belongings and looked at the coachman, who stood holding the horses restlessly. The night was growing deep, and this narrow path through the Transylvanian mountains already felt terrifying. The air was damp, and somewhere in the distance, the howl of wolves could be heard. "Here, sir," said the coachman, stammering as he pointed a finger towards the castle looming on a jagged peak like a dark cloud. "I cannot go any further, but our agreement was that you would leave me at the castle gate." Jonathan sighed, trying to maintain his English composure. The local man shook his head, his eyes filled with a fear as if he were looking at impending death. He pulled a small wooden cross from inside his coat and offered it to Jonathan. "Take it. Keep it with you. Against the Strigoi." Jonathan took the cross, surprised and somewhat annoyed. He was a reasonable lawyer from London who had come only to sign a property purchase agreement. He had no interest in mysterious local superstitions. He paid the fare and picked up his bag. The coachman turned the carriage around and vanished into the darkness without looking back, the sound of the horse's hooves fading rapidly. Now he was completely alone. The path to the castle was frighteningly narrow and steep. The wind whistled as it passed, as if some unseen entity was welcoming him. Finally, he stood before a heavy wooden door. He knocked on the large iron knocker, the sound echoing and fading inside. A moment later, the door slowly opened. Inside stood a tall, thin man whose age was difficult to guess. His eyes were deep and sharp, his face extremely pale, and his lips red as if stained with fresh blood. He was dressed in black, making him seem like a part of the night. "You are Jonathan Harker," he said, his voice carrying a strange pressure, as if speaking ancient languages. "I am Count Dracula. Welcome. My house is your house." Inside the castle, the air was cold and still, smelling of old dust, rotten wood, and something sweetly decayed. Jonathan was taken to his room, which was large and old, with heavy, dark furniture. A meal was laid out on the dining table, but Dracula ate nothing, merely sitting with a glass of wine, watching Jonathan as if he were the meal itself. Days began to pass. Jonathan noticed that Dracula was never seen during the day. He appeared only at night, always in the same black attire. One day, Jonathan accidentally placed his shaving mirror in front of Dracula. Dracula's face suddenly twisted in anger. "These cursed things," he shouted, moving away from the mirror. Jonathan saw that only his own astonished face was visible in the mirror. Dracula's reflection was simply not there. Another night, as Dracula was leaving, Jonathan instinctively grabbed his hand. It was as cold as an ice block. Dracula turned and looked at him, a dangerous smile playing on his lips. "A family trait, Mr. Harker. Our blood is cold." Jonathan began to suspect. When he tried to explore the castle, he found all doors locked from the outside. The windows were so high that a deep chasm was visible below. He understood he was a prisoner. Night after night, he wrote in his diary, shaping his fear into words. One day, he opened the door to Dracula's bedroom, which was usually closed. Inside, there was no bed, only a heavy, weapon-filled coffin-like box, filled with earth. Jonathan's heart sank. Then came that strange night. Jonathan lay sleepless. From within the castle came faint, whispering sounds, as if secret conversations were taking place. He left his room and walked through the dark corridors, entering an old wing that had been closed off before. The air was freezing. Then he heard voices, soft, melodic laughter. 3 women emerged from inside a dark room. They were extremely beautiful, their hair black as night and eyes like red wine. Their dresses were of an old style, yet their skin glowed like moonlight. "Come," one of them said, her voice honey-sweet. "Don't be alone." Jonathan, mesmerized, began moving toward them. Their beauty was heart-stopping, but their eyes held a hunger he could not comprehend. The second woman reached out her hand, her fingers brushing against his neck. Jonathan felt a chill, and then suddenly, his senses returned. He saw their smiling faces, the sharp, white teeth behind their lips. They were fangs. What are you?" Jonathan asked, in a trembling voice. "Your companions," the third woman said, drawing closer. "Forever." The 3 of them lunged at him, their laughter now terrifying. Jonathan tried to pull back, but they closed in on him. One grabbed his collar, another his wrist. The third lowered her head, close to his neck. Jonathan closed his eyes. "Leave him." The voice was thunderous and powerful. The women instantly recoiled, as if pushed by an unseen force. Dracula stood at the doorway, his eyes burning like fire. His face was dark with rage. "This one is mine." Dracula roared. "You have no right to touch him." The women lowered their heads, but their eyes held resentment and hunger. "You have kept us starving," one of them said. "You will have to wait longer," Dracula said, then turned to Jonathan. "You should not have come here." Jonathan was taken back to his room. Dracula left him outside the door, saying his final words. "You are my guest, Mr. Harker, and no guest of mine may die without my permission." Over the next several days, Jonathan found himself. He knew Dracula was not human, but an ancient monster of vampire. He slept during the day, awoke at night, had no reflection in mirrors, and survived on human blood. He himself was Dracula's next victim, or perhaps his next recruit. Dracula was busy refining his English with him, learning local customs and speech. Jonathan realized he was planning to go to England, a new hunting ground. One morning, Jonathan looked out from the castle's highest window. There was nothing but forest as far as the eye could see. A desperate fire ignited within him. He did not want to die, nor did he want to become a monster. He took the small cross hidden in his belongings. Its metal now felt warm in his palm. At night, Dracula called him. "I leave tomorrow, Mr. Harker. And you will remain here. Enjoy my hospitality." The meaning was clear. He would kill him here, or worse, turn him into his own kind. When Dracula left, Jonathan made his final move. He began climbing the castle walls, grasping at cracks in the stones. Below was a deep chasm, but he had no other choice. The wind was against him, and the stones were rough. Suddenly, his foot slipped. He stumbled, but held the cross tightly in his hand. He regained his balance and began climbing again. Finally, he descended, his hands and feet wounded. I looked back. The castle stood dark and silent. He ran through the dense trees of the forest until the first light of dawn appeared on the horizon. Months later, in a London hospital room, Jonathan Harker was writing on the last page of his diary. His face had grown pale, with dark circles under his eyes. He wrote, "I am free, but am I truly free?" Those eyes, the eyes of those three women, and Dracula's deep, red gaze are always with me. He is coming to England. He is not just a monster, but a plague. And I may be the only one who knows how to stop him, if I have the courage. He put down the pen and looked out the window. Outside was London's fog, in which anyone could hide. Anyone. He knew the story was not over. This was only a chapter, and the next chapter remained to be written.